It's time to follow the money with your hosts, Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard.
It's good to have you on board as we're live in Vegas, South Point Sportsbook. Busy show. 45 minutes from now, Pat Forty, Yahoo Sports on college football. An hour from now, Mike Palm's going to join the program, Circus Sports. And then back end of today's program, Kenny White will be on to also talk some college football and games that he likes for this weekend. This is going to be a great story here as Anthony Curtis joins us now in studio, Las Vegas advisor. He's been on the program many times. And buddy of yours, we've never had on the show before.
Right.
Heard of Frankie B many times. It's very nice of you to wake up early today, Frank.
Yeah, good morning, gentlemen, really.
Professional gambler, longtime advantage player?
Yep.
Okay, all right. So let's begin here. Right. Why you contacted Pauly last night?
I contacted Pauly because I told him about a week ago that something was brewing, that something interesting was brewing. And I said, I'll tell you when I can tell you. And I could tell him as of yesterday because Jimmy Vaccaro tweeted out a picture of a really big bet that was made, and we had something to do with it. And I said, okay, Paul, you want us on the show? We'll come on and we'll tell you what's going on because we can now.
When did our friend in Houston reach out?
Right. This is a guy known as Mattress Mack. And he's got a big, giant furniture store or a chain of stores in Texas, maybe the biggest, probably one of the biggest in the United States. And the way he markets is he tells his people that if a certain local team does something great, they get their money back. And we're talking about millions of dollars in furniture that's been bought. And this year, it's the Astros to win the World Series. Right?
Yes.
All of a sudden. So if the Astros win the World Series, this guy's on the hook for, multiple millions of dollars in refunds. And he needed to do something to hedge it. And in the past, he's worked with insurance firms like others have, Berkshire Hathaway, all of that. And this year, he kind of just didn't get to it fast enough. And the Astros made the big trade, and they got too good, and he couldn't get a price. And all of a sudden, he's got to do something. So he contacted. It turns out that his attorney reads our books and things. And I got a phone call, and I returned the phone call. And next thing I know, we're talking with Mattress Mack about what can we do to help you hedge your bet.
You got a phone call from his attorney because he reads your stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, I'd never heard of the attorney, and the message was, I know a lot of the same people you do. So I always return the calls, and I didn't know what it was going to be. And he started to get into it. I go, okay, I know who you're talking about right off the bat. And one thing led to another, and I said, I got the guy. I brought in Frank B, and I talked to Mac in Houston, and he said, okay, let's get together. We formed a little bit of a partnership, and we're trying to get money down, and that's where it gets really wild.
What were your thoughts on this, Frank? Were you excited? You want to give it a shot? What were you thinking when Anthony gave you the call and your relationship with Anthony?
Yeah, well, so when he filled me in on it, I go, well, it's an interesting gambling problem to try and analyze. So yeah, there's options. It just depends how creative the guy is willing to get, and as you'll find out soon, creative bets cannot be positioned for the book so that they have equal action. It's just going to be gambling for them. So we're pretty much reduced to keeping things basic. But yeah, it's an interesting problem to try to solve.
How many places have you gone so far?
Just about everywhere. Just about everywhere we put feelers in.
Okay.
And and the response could be immediate, and we'll get back to you, that type of thing. Anthony's been dealing with working the phone for the most part, so he can fill you in on that. But pretty much everywhere in Nevada. And we're working with some New Jersey places, and we're exploring all options.
Here's the interesting point on that. He wants, Mac wants to keep it all above board and legal. All right, so that takes a lot of people who do these kinds of things. They'll go offshore. They'll do things like that. He doesn't want to do that. Mm-hmm. He wants to keep it legal. Bet in the United States, for a lot of reasons, and that's where we get a little bit hamstrung. Because the guys offshore. We could get all kinds of money down if we wanted to. Mm-hmm. But, he wants to keep it all above board. So it's between, it's the legal jurisdictions here. And that's what's wild about it is we're getting more action outside of Nevada. Nevada's all worried about losing their hegemony in the spot, being at the top. And well, you got to do something, boys.
Okay.
You got to take a bet.
Explain this to us then. Anthony Curtis, Las Vegas advisor, longtime advantage player, Frankie B in studio with us explaining this whole Mattress Mack story. So, Frankie, when you said you're putting out your feelers to talk to all these books, does that mean a simple phone call, a text message? And then how much are you asking to actually get down at that point? And then what was their response?
Well, initially you don't want to give away exactly what you're looking for. It's like, hey, are you interested in a bet above your limits, having to do baseball World Series? And then inevitably they're like, well, who you want to bet on? You know, it's like when you call your local bookie and you go and you say, you know, what do you got on the Rams and the Browns? Well, who you want to bet on? You know, so you try to keep that in your pocket.
Yep.
But you know, we're just eventually explaining the situation if they show any interest, and then there's a lot of we'll get back to you. You know.
And then, but what they get back to us with is not cool. It's like, no, we don't want to. You know, I mean, really, at the beginning, they're like, yeah, let's go, man. You know, okay, good. Look, this is a futures bet. You know, they've got a big edge in this. You know, they've got a big edge cooked into this line.
Sure.
So they should want to take it. But all of a sudden, when it comes time to say, okay, come on in, it's like, we don't think we want to.
So how big are the numbers are they saying no to?
Well, we're talking about, you know, we tell them mid six figures. You know, that's what we start with is mid six figures. And we say, if you really want it, I mean, we can get into a few million here. And, you know, they're like, that's when we say, okay, we need to get back to you. And then they come back, and we've had a bunch of them come back and say, okay, we'll give you 10,000. You know, we start off at $500,000, and we're down
You'll
to
ask for
10,000.
$500,000. Their response is, we'll give you 10,000.
Yeah, well, we tried it at one. We walked up to the window. All right, now, see, you want to talk about looking like a couple of dummies? You know, we walk up to the window, going, we want to make a big bet, and the guy's like, looking over his glasses, like, yeah, you guys, how much, what? You know, we're in these, you know, we have jeans and T-shirts and all this shit, and they're like, well, you know, up to $1.5 million. Everything stops, right? Everything stops. It looks at, hold on, you know. But what we found out is immediately that's no way to do business. Nobody's going to take any kind of action like that. So that's when we went back. I got on the phones, we got on the text, and, you know, we started talking to people that way.
For Frank, and I guess, if Anthony, you want to chime in too, what was the New Jersey story where they said, I don't know how you say it, they put in a claim or a waiver
well,
for the $5 million?
FanDuel wants it. This is out there, that when Mack was working by himself, he contacted a few places, and FanDuel was one of them. FanDuel wanted it, and they'll say, we'll take whatever you want. How much you want to go? Up to $10 million? We'll take $10 million. But they had to get a waiver, because anything over $5 million, they have to get know, from the DGE there. But they didn't give him a good deal. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, the number wasn't good. And so we said, we can do better. We can do a better number for you. And that's, you know, what we're working on here is, you know, an opportunity to trump the New Jersey book that wants to do it, but nobody hardly wants to do it. I won't say nobody. I mean, South Point, that's why we're here. You know, South Point stepped up and said, yeah, come on in, 200. We'll take 200 right now. Boom. You know, at the number that you guys want. Good for them, you know. I mean, here's some guys that are like old style, and they want to take that.
So that was their instant reaction here. Jimmy Vaccaro, Vinny,
Jimmy's
Michael
amazing.
Gaughan,
Jimmy was walking through the book, and I go, "There's Jimmy." I went over, hey. He turns around, you know, I know him from from years back. He's like, "Yo, hey, what's up?" I go, "Hey, I want to make a big bet." He goes, "Okay, what do you want to do?" I says, "You know, we want to get it." You know, some money down on the Astros. I go, this is the guy from Houston. He goes, yeah, Mac, I know him, good guy. He goes, we'll give you 200. He goes, let me clear it with the boss. You know, so he goes and talks to Michael Gaughan, and Michael's like, yeah, we'll take it at plus 250.
So that was the initial number that he actually threw at you two.
Yeah, we actually.
Okay, that's okay.
Yeah, we told him 200 to a quarter, you know, for starters, and he's like, yeah, we'll take that. And he's the only one that came back and did. Well,
there's a tweet that he sent out yesterday. Yep.
Exactly. And that's what freed us to come on. We said, okay, if they're going to talk about it, then we're going to talk about it. You know.
Are you frustrated, Frank?
No. I mean, you have to understand it from the book's perspective. You know, once you get above a certain point, they're just gambling, and you know, and it's understandable that they may not want to have their whole week or maybe a whole month win-loss riding on one outcome. So, because that's what it's going to be. It's going to unbalance anybody. I mean, look at the future price, how it moved here. I mean, they're not taking any more Astro money here. They're done.
Yeah.
You know, you want anything else? You want the Dodgers? You want the Yankees? I don't know if they did the, you know, slide one down, slide everybody up a little. But, you know, once you take a bet, you know, you got a position that you have to deal with. So I understand it from that view.
Isn't it worth it though for the PR?
Absolutely.
I mean, this is going to be the talk of the town.
I think that's the key point. That there's, you know,
yeah, that's what's
up to a certain amount. These books should be a little more receptive. Just because, I mean, South Point is, you know, they're the ones that stepped up to the plate. They look like a real book, and some of the other ones are just like, you know, still hemming and hawing. So we'll see how.
To piggyback that, and Frank, you've been coming here for 25 years to Las Vegas. Anthony, you've been here forever too. I mean, isn't it just kind of a slap in the face if other books don't step up and then Mattress Mack has to say, well, you know what? Sorry, Las Vegas. I have to take all my money and go to New Jersey or somewhere else.
Well, we hated that. That's one of the reasons we got involved because we're Vegas guys. We're from Nevada. And we're like, God, I hate hearing about this. New Jersey this, New Jersey that. They're booking more. They got, more action. They've got more, a bigger menu, on and on and on. But what are you going to do? How are you going to fight it? If they're going to, the guy steps right up and says, yeah, we'll take up to $10 million. And we got guys here going, we'll give you 10,000. Come on, I mean, you want to be at the front of the line, or you want to get behind Jersey? Step up, someone.
Are you worried about the clock here now?
Yeah, of course.
The playoffs start next week. Are you going to run out of time? And how many places do you think you're going to get down by?
It doesn't matter. Whatever we end up doing for him, we do for him.
Okay.
Otherwise
All right.
he'll go and he'll do what he needs to do with his original offer. But we've got time because there's the big guys. There's the Yankees and the Astros and the Dodgers, and they're going to probably all be in play for a while. Yeah. So there's time for things to happen. But the cool thing is we went and made the bet. Boom, boom, boom. Hand him a ticket, and Frank goes, "How many drink tickets can I get?"
How many do you think?
I would like
I'd
to
give
say,
you the whole stack.
Well, he would have given us whatever way, but just
take the bar.
Yeah.
My answer would be
He gave us 5.
we get 5.
You're 5.
maybe
And we,
5.
and we couldn't use it we had to use it for domestic beer.
Oh.
I says, give me a Heineken. He's like, no, it's not good for that.
No.
We had 2 each, and we saved 1 ticket for Mac for a souvenir, so we got 1 drink ticket for him.
Well, here's why it should work basically,
I
right?
get a drink ticket.
In both regions of the country.
How about Michael's?
For books out here in Las Vegas, you would think that what you were saying earlier, a sliding scale. So, okay, take the money, bump the Astros down to whatever, $1.50, even money, whatever you want to think is fair. And then here in Las Vegas, you could pump up the Dodgers to like 6-1, potentially. Back east, you could pump up I'm sure all they get other than Mattress Mack is going to be Yankees money. Or is that not a fair
Well,
statement?
I don't know about adjustments like that. Like Dodgers 6-1 would be pretty generous.
Well, I'm going over the top, but you know what I'm saying, yeah.
Yeah, that's what you expect to see. And in most books, they have a spreadsheet, and they move a line one, and it readjusts everything to establish the same hold that they want to have on that future book. And you see, like Westgate, you always watch Westgate's books. They drop somebody, and then you'll see other things adjust accordingly, which is the fair way to do it. But you do have some books that just drop and never raise, and those are the ones by the end of the season, when you get down to it, not a future book that started out at 25% now is like upwards of 40% because they keep dragging, they keep dragging everybody down with no readjustment.
Okay.
So,
here's the wild part of it, though. I mean, this is a known quantity. Everyone knows who the guy is. It's not that
That's right.
He's a furniture salesman, man. He's not an expert sports bettor. And they're still worried. Like, we're afraid. We're afraid of the dark. We don't want to walk into that room. It's dark. We can't see. You've got an edge, man. You've got a big edge. You've got in excess of 20% advantage here. Give me a 20% advantage. I'll take it all day long, man.
Okay, so William Hill's interesting here because Nick has said in the past, and Joe Asher, this is great pub. It's great PR. They had the Tiger Woods bet. They paid over $1 million.
Right.
They just took $500,000 on a football game Sunday night.
Right.
They took $4 million bets on the Eagles-Patriots Super Bowl. They have over 100 locations in Nevada. Are you getting anywhere there?
Not yet. Not yet. Everything's in play right now.
Okay.
Like there's nobody. That's why I say we're really not naming names. We'll name names later. Of people that wouldn't. But let's just put it this way: everybody's had an opportunity.
Yeah.
Everybody's been contacted, and here's their point. Some of them, their number's not where we want it, and they go, "Look, our number's our number." Okay, fine. But you would think they might adjust for the PR value and everything else.
Okay.
So far, we haven't had a lot of success with people going, "Okay, we'll meet what you need," which is still a big edge number.
Have you ran, because you guys certainly know what you're talking about, have you explored the possibility about just do the rollover?
We're looking at a lot of things.
Okay.
We're looking at a lot of things. We want a base position, all right? We really want a base position, and that's with the obvious futures bet on the Astros. So we're looking for a base position, and then, we've got a lot of ideas how we're going to bet this money.
Can you share your expertise and knowledge with our viewers about what it takes to get down and to be able to do it, have several outs and get down, and what that's like throughout your 25 years?
Oh, well, when you start going above the limits, then it's always, your relationship with the book and the guys behind the counter, and if they're interested in that. And so this is like so many levels above that.
Yeah.
That it's just,
Sure.
I mean, this is, you got to go talk to somebody and you got to see what they think. And like, you got to take their temperature, you know, see where they stand on that particular bet. Like, you look at the future books around town, which is what I did. I went around and I made sure what the price was at every book that we were going to approach before we talked to them. And you can see who sort of needs some Astros money and who is overloaded. And there were, 3 or 4 that were just, they were below plus 200. You know, the range was plus 150 all the way up to plus 280 when I did the first rundown.
Okay.
Since then, it's sort of gravitated towards the center, I would say, you know. But the prices that we're seeing now are, we're approaching the books that appear to have an interest in this based on the price that they're offering.
Okay. So you've gotten down the 200,000 here at the South Point so far. A couple of different questions here, I guess, then. How much money overall are you hoping to get down on the Astros to win the World Series? And what is your realistic number that you think you can get down?
Yeah, that's pretty fluid, you know, and we're going to see. It's going to depend on how things shake out. We'd like to get multiple million. You know, we're looking at, well, look, he's petitioned for a $10 million bet in New Jersey. So up to $10 million. Do we think, based on what we've seen, that that's a possibility? Not really, until we make some kind of chunk bet deal. The problem is we're talking to other books in New Jersey too, and they want to do it. I mean, Jersey's going to end up doing it. You know, somebody there is going to take whatever's left. Realistically, you know, we think we can get $1 million or $2 million down in the Vegas books at better and superior numbers.
I think, not to toot our own horn, but I think this is a good move today.
What's that?
Putting it out there along. Say, come on, what's going on?
Well, look, we weren't going to say a word. We weren't going to say a word. We were going to go about our business until that tweet came out. When that tweet came out, we were sitting talking it over, and he said, "Oh wow, look at this." And I said, "Okay, good. Let's call Pauly and Mitch and see if they want to talk." You know, so,
you're right, Paul. That's a good one.
Yeah.
This should get the attention of other places here in town because
how many top executives will see this too and say, "What are we doing?" And actually, this is key too, where they have to get involved with the sports book and say, "Why aren't we taking this? Why are you not kicking it upstairs?" Or why we have to maybe we might see some people change their minds now.
See, this is the kind of bet you want to take. This guy's back in Houston right now. He's not here. He's in Houston because he's all into the whole humanitarian thing, helping people after the hurricane.
Yeah.
This is a good dude. I mean, really. He's got this furniture store, and he's like donating this and that and all kinds of stuff to people who are out of their homes. You know, this is not some guy that you're fearful of. This is a guy that's a businessman that's looking for an honest bet, and that's what we're trying to help him with.
So as of right now, set a number on this. Jersey taking a majority of the money on this bet compared to Las Vegas.
Frank, what do you make it?
That Jersey takes a greater amount?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, that's a big favorite.
It's a big favorite,
Yeah,
huh?
sure, because you have an offer in place. I mean, you got to. I mean, you know, he can go tomorrow and get, you know, pretty much what he wants. But it's at the price, and you know, it's the price that is scaring. Not scary, but making some of the books look twice at it. And what you have here is somebody looking to bet the favorite. The favorite. I mean, you know from watching future books. I mean, how many Golden State lay money to win the championships just blow up, and we're deeper in the season and things are more known right now. These are the good teams. But let me ask you, what do you think the line? What do you think an acceptable price is? If I said Yankees, Dodgers, Astros, and then the field, what do you think to take the field? What would that be?
They had that up
because those are the three powerhouses,
sure.
And then so everybody else, because people overestimate what that the likelihood of favorites coming in.
Look at the Atlanta Braves.
I would
look at
the Cardinals.
The Braves would have the best record every year, and then Bobby Cox can never win something. But that's
I would say that a month ago, 2 months ago, Caesars had that up. That exact prop you're talking about, and the field.
A good prop.
The field, I believe, the field I got. I think I want to say
it 180.
I think it got to like plus 250 at one point on the field.
Yeah.
Now this goes back a little bit. This is probably early August, maybe end of July. I can check my notes on that, but
yeah. Well, I did the math and played it out to the World Series. I think that should be about no vig line, about plus 200
on the field.
Yeah, it should be minus 200 if you get to take those three.
Yeah.
And you get all three teams.
Yeah.
And see, people think it would be more than that. You say I'm going to give you Astros, Yankees, Dodgers. You got to lay minus 200 to win the World Series. I think you'd have a line over there, people doing it, but that's about a break-even bet.
Wow. Can you guys stick
You guys
around?
can stick around. Yeah, one more segment.
sure.
You got 5 minutes? Thanks.
Absolutely.
Thanks for getting up early, too.
Yeah, we'll continue here. Anthony Curtis, Las Vegas advisor. Frank B., longtime gambler, professional gambler, advantage player as well. It's Follow the Money, getting a rundown of Mattress Mack, $200,000 bet here at the South Plain on the Astros yesterday. More with these two fellas coming up next. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for you to remain manscaped. Go to manscapedwithad.com and get 20% off when you use the code VEASAN. We continue here. Anthony Curtis, Las Vegas advisor, longtime advantage player. Frank B. in studio as well, talking about Mattress Mack trying to get down maybe millions of dollars on the Astros to win the World Series here in Las Vegas. So far, one place has taken his bet, right? This is the only spot here, South Point.
Yeah,
for $200,000 yesterday.
Yeah, we've got a tentative commitment from CG Technology to take 100,000. So
At around plus 250?
yes, at 250. Now, we'll see. We haven't made the bet yet, so we'll see. We're looking at their board right now, and it says 240.
Yeah, they moved.
And we're not taking 240 because we can do better.
Okay.
But that's the second biggest one that is committed to this point, although we haven't made the bet.
You're a sharp guy, no doubt, Frank. Can you tell the story how you won a house in a contest?
Well, it's just, for Vegas locals that have been around a while, they know that the station contest, what is it, free now? Is it free or 25?
It's free now. Yeah.
Right. So back then it used to be 25. And you could buy, I think you bought 2 entries, you got 1 free. But it was a good low roller thing. And it's one of those ones that they say you can turn a toothpick into a lumberyard.
Uh-huh.
And first year I played it.
First year?
But there were unique aspects to a football contest in town. It was the glory days in the mid-'90s. But they were giving just as much for most winners as they were for most losers. And 80% of the field goes for winners. So, all right, just go for losers right out of the box. Not a brilliant strategy, but it's, it makes sense when you look at the pay scale because it was almost entirely 50-50 balance. And, that's how it played out, You just got to remember every week to fill the card out backwards, So
Wow.
Go for the most losers. That was the approach because his pay scale was the same.
Virtually the
same.
The prizes,
Yeah.
house for the most winners, house for the most losers, cars. I think cars were next.
Yeah.
And then the money started to be more weighted towards the winners.
Okay.
But for the big stuff, it was balanced.
How many times have you finished in the top 5 in a contest?
In the top 5, we got some stories from recent years because we've been finishing second in all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, we're really good at taking seconds.
Pissing our
We take
sister
lots of
every year.
seconds.
Yeah?
Yeah. You remember when Nugget used to be Canner before that, the contest? The Nugget. So we've had second 3 times in that.
Yeah.
And,
Is that right?
And fourth once. So and we just always coming up short on because when they did the bracket, the knockdown,
We were
Yeah,
yes,
that's right.
always
second in
losing on the
William Hill. This
tiebreaker,
Big
whatever.
William Hill one.
But in the '90s, I won like a handful of contests. Bang, 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 bang.
In sports or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And matter of fact, I like to joke with guys from that. I tell them I'm the defending Las Vegas Hilton college football contest winner. Because back in the 90s, they ran a parallel contest to the super contest that was college football. I go, this looks cool, get in on that. And it was a good contest. And they were first year and I won it. And then for some reason after that, they didn't want to run it anymore. I don't know if they just felt it was too much of a bother or, it didn't work out from the way they wanted. But and then going forward, we've just been second. We, hitting the board a lot, but no winners within the last, half dozen years or so.
So you started in blackjack
Yeah.
and all table games pretty much
Yeah.
on the floor, and then you've, as a result, turned into a great sports bettor. How did you make that transition?
No, I was betting
Always-
sports
okay.
along the way, and back then was, great. There was no line services that you could walk around and look at and stuff. So you had to, have good shoes and hoof it around, Riviera, Stardust,
Sure.
Frontier, and all that. So it was easy to formulate a strategy for betting, just, attacking the market. Say, wow, this number's here, this number's there. And when you start out in blackjack, that's a very mathematical training that you get. to go in there. It's black and white. There's one right answer. Everything else is wrong. And you sort of apply that to sports betting, and you get that certain mindset that you put your opinion second and the market first. And you never let your opinion trump what the market is trying to feed you. So, it evolved after that because blackjack does not have a long shelf life. You start having all the blackjack guys out there understand this. You start being asked not to play, and so you look for something else to do.
Ever backroomed?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't even
How many?
let's just say a handful. Yeah.
Oh,
But this is in the old days when they did that kind of
right,
stuff.
yeah,
They know better now, and they still do it on occasion. But back then that was not an uncommon thing for them to think that they could, come with us, and if you said no, I'd prefer to walk out the door, they'd say, well, that's not happening. And that used to happen way more often, pre-2000. Now, then there's lawsuits, and now they kind of they're careful about that kind of thing.
that's not happening.
I think we need to follow up on this.
Yeah.
We'll stick around here one more segment. Anthony, Frank in studio. I hope you're willing to give some details. Maybe name some names, casinos. We'll see what we can pry from Frank coming up next.
With Keeps, you can save your hair without ever leaving your couch. The FDA-approved 2 effective products to help prevent hair loss and even trigger hair regrowth in a good percentage of guys. But until now, these products were expensive and required a doctor visit. Keeps offers the generic versions of those 2 FDA-approved hair products. Not only are they up to 90% effective, totally affordable. Visit keeps.com/VSiN, answer a few questions, take a few pics, and a licensed doctor will review your info and recommend the right hair loss treatment for you. Then it ships right to your door. Keeps.com/VSiN, free online doctor consultation. First month of your hair treatment's free. Keeps.com/VSiN. We'll move on from the backdoor business with being backroomed, because some painful memories. But how much video poker did you play in the past, and how did that go as far as being an advantage player?
Played quite a bit after, the blackjack years, and again, back then, those were the glory days where you could actually find advantages versus the machines instead of the way it is these days, which is basically you're trying to beat marketing. You got maybe a break-even machine if you're lucky, and then what they send you on the back end, that's pretty much your profit. But back then, we had all kinds of interesting things happen back then, just because there were so many opportunities between machines and then the promotions the casinos would run, that were tied to the machines. A lot of good stuff back then.
You ever been Delta Royal?
I was Delta Royal once. Yeah, I was. It was the $5-line dollars, and it's just one of those things. I got a friend that's been in town for a very long time, and you go like that, and he goes, when you go out, you don't go out, you set out to hit a Royal, because you don't hit Royals. Royals hit you. And that's exactly how it is. When you least expect it, bam,
Dancer told us he had a Delt Royal and a 100-play machine one time.
Who did?
Bob Dancer.
Oh, yeah. Well,
On a 100-play Delt Royal.
yeah, he's probably due. I mean, there's as many hands as he's played.
Wow.
He's probably got
Yeah.
a lot more of those.
Yeah.
Probably.
City lost count at how many Royals? 2,000?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
2,000. But how many dealt?
Not many, he said.
Yeah.
8? 9? Was that the number?
Yeah.
Something like that?
That's still a lot,
It's,
man.
yeah. I've only hit 1 too, Delta. What do you think of Ultimate X?
Hey, it's a great machine for the casinos. I mean, they're getting you to lay 2 to 1.
Yes.
with the enticement of the multipliers, and I don't know. Bob is the guy to go. I'm sure he knows all the paybacks for all the various variations and games on an Ultimate X menu, and that's the guy to ask, because some I think are not good at all, and some are, like, I guess you would say, acceptable by today's standards.
Anthony, it's crack. I've hit 4 of a kind on 12 times, 5 times, and
Yeah,
I mean it's great.
Well, look, there's 2 reasons to play. Entertainment and profit. And for entertainment, it's hard to trump that game. That game is fun.
We didn't get to this last time you were on with Mike. I called you 2 weeks ago. There was one place in town running a blackjack tournament. But you weren't competing against the table. It was chairman only, top players only. You were going against the rest of the field.
Right.
Your strategy was the same as last man standing.
Right.
Shove early. You got 15 hands.
Yes.
15 hands of blackjack. And they would pay out the top 5 in chips. But you're not going against people. What was your strategy on that, you think?
Push almost immediately. I mean,
How many hands?
You would go in. To be honest, I'd be all in from the start. I'd be all in from the start.
Okay.
I'd have a strike number that I wanted to hit. So if I'm starting with 10,000, I might want to turn that into 75, something like that. Whatever. I would make an estimation of how many people are playing. There's actually a mathematical equation that Stanford Wong put out that you can target where you need to go. And I would do something like that, and you just push until you lose it or hit it. And that's how it's variance. You try to grab variance. You want to get your money in and grow, because just naturally somebody's going to go on a heater. When you got that many people, somebody's going to go on a heater and post a really big score. And the idea is to win, so you got to push. And nobody wants to do it because you're like, I'm out in 2 hands, I'm out in 1 hand. So what? What are you there for? You there to play or you there to win?
Yeah. Do you have a biggest loss story?
A biggest loss in sports, yeah.
Sports.
It's pretty bad. Usually it's the big win stories that people. So I was betting with a group. This is like early 2000s, and we had a position on the Steelers. It was Steelers playing Tampa Bay. We had a position on the Steelers, big one, and it was my job to get the other side, which had moved to where we just have a middle shot, a good combination, very little risk. But at that time I was traveling. I was going to Australia, and then I ended up in Asia. I was in Thailand at the time, and me and my friend were walking around in Thailand like 5 in the morning or whatever it was, and we're looking up and there's like football on. I go, wow, look at that, and I go, yeah, that's time. I go, wow, man, that's our game. I was supposed to, you get all mixed up. You got international Dateline, you got all this. I mean, I'm all scrambled. I go, yeah, I was supposed to take care of that. And of course it lost. It was like I forget. I think it was 84,000. Was the other? Was that what I was supposed to? No, that's what we lost. I was supposed to counter that, and but they took a grade. I say, oh no, we're doing good. So okay, so we just got one good bet. That's all, for 84,000 instead of buying it back. So they didn't take it bad or anything, but it was. You feel like a dumbass,
Oh, sure.
Yes.
I'm rocking around with a Thai beer, and I'm like, oh, yeah.
Kickoff, huh?
I think that rings
funny.
a bell.
That takes a while.
us.
It probably takes you a couple of days to be like, what?
Yeah.
Well, how did I miss that?
Yeah, we need some more drinks, I think, for the rest of this game.
How about best tip you received? Information, injury news before anybody, something like that.
Well, and how things have changed, by the way, with Twitter and online and everything like that.
Yeah, that's a tough one. There's still some guys today that get good stuff, like they know this guy that knows a trainer or something like that. And sometimes you get that coming in, but for every time you get one of those, there's another one that's sort of, it's not really what it purports to be. It's not really inside information. It's just somebody just trying to sound like they know something. So you got to watch when you get that kind of stuff. It's like, really, is he really got does the whole secondary really have the flu? Like apparently the Browns had this week or whatever. But not really anything big.
Okay.
So what are you guys doing the rest of the morning now?
Go get a nap. I don't know.
Drink a beer? 6 o'clock in the morning?
Man, how do you guys? I mean, 4 o'clock. When you wake up, are you like cranky?
It takes a while. It takes half an hour.
It's like every time that you shut off your computer and then turn it back on, that's me trying to wake up in the morning. Give it like 10, 15 minutes. Yeah.
I don't know. It looks you guys look fresh.
I know.
You look fresh every day.
How do you want to close this in terms of again why you're here, and again this I think this can be beneficial to all the parties, and especially in Nevada if you can get down on this bet. What would you like to say to close?
Well, I'd just like to say, come on, boys. Step up. I mean, we've got money to bet on the Astros right now, and
a lot of it.
I just don't understand why. Every book wouldn't come in and say, "Look, it's a futures bet with a big edge for us, and we're going to take that big edge." And so we got the money. If it has to go to New Jersey, then it's going to go to New Jersey. It's I hate to be the one to do it, to direct that, but if that's what we have to do, that's what we'll do.
Yeah, as Nevada guys, we don't. I mean, prefer to see it stay here for the most part because I'm a little sick of New Jersey. Oh man, we have
all
a
the
bigger
promos
menu. We
yeah.
take bigger bets.
We got to fly.
Yeah.
Guys, thanks so much for coming in today. That was great stuff. Pat 40, college football up next.